Hey there folks, Chef Raya again, coming to you from Fontana, California. This is all for the Raya Effect, the GoFundMe account that I have posted. I'm going to post this video there. Today is Cinco de Mayo, so I figured I would, put something together for you all, give you a little bit of, incentive to go and have your own Cinco de Mayo celebration with your family. So we're going to do some shrimp tacos and some steak tacos. I have some just your average 16-20 shrimp. Really nice. They're raw. You always want to get raw shrimp when you're doing fresh stuff. What I'm going to do with these shrimp, I'm going to dice them up like quarter size, and I'm going to season them with chili powder, some chili pepper, some lime, and salt and pepper, of course. And then I'm going to saute those off and put those to the side. And then we're going to head on outside to the grill and throw our steaks on. And then while the steaks are going, we're going to come in here and put together our Pico de Gallo and our Avocado Relish. Alright, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to chop up my shrimp into nice bite-sized pieces that I just had tails on them, so it makes it a lot easier because I like to enjoy all of the shrimp if I'm going to have shrimp. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get my shrimp seasoned up so that it can sit for a little bit while I get the steaks on the grill. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 tablespoon of the chili powder, 1 tablespoon of the chili pepper, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, just a pinch of some coarse ground black pepper, and the juice of 1 lemon, or excuse me, 1 lime. Alright, then I'm going to just take that mixture, mix it up really good. Just want to incorporate all that, get the salt moved around, all the lime juice. Now that I've got all the seasonings and the lime juice incorporated in here, I'm going to allow this to sit at room temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes while I have the steaks on the grill. In doing this, it'll just really seal the flavor in there. I want them to get really, really married with the flavor. You can taste that lime, you can taste that chili, the salt also. And then I'm going to saute these in a pan. But until then, let's go ahead and get our steaks on the grill. Alright, so we're outside by the grill. I have my marinated sirloin steaks. Just a basic marinade, a little oil, garlic, salt and pepper, and Worcestershire sauce. Keeping it very basic. I'm just going to go ahead and throw these on the grill. I'm not really looking to cook them all the way on the grill. My family's preference in meat is probably well done, I'm just going to assume. So I just want to get a nice mark on these. Notice how I'm laying them on the grill. I'm really trying to achieve grill marks at the end of the day. You want to try to maintain the heat at a very, very moderate heat, because like I said, I'm basically looking to just mark these off. Let them get a little more marked. I'm going to go ahead and close my grill. Let it come back up to temperature. And then I'm going to flip my steaks on the opposite side to give a crosshatch mark. That's just my preference. If you just want one line, that's fine. But like I said, I'm not trying to cook them all the way on the grill. I'm just trying to mark them off to get the flavor started. And I really want to get that Worcestershire taste all in the steak. So then when I cut it up, you can taste it all through it and it'll be tender. Just a little bit more time for the marking. There we go. You want to get those nice grill marks on there. We're going to turn our fire down a little bit so that I don't have to keep running back and forth. And when you're doing things like this in the kitchen, It's always good to either have somebody helping you or, just having a good sense of timing. But if you can't be, if you have a gas grill, always good to go low and slow. Because like I said, we're just trying to mark them because we're going to finish them in the oven so that they're really tender and everybody has the temperature they desire. Most people don't, I like my steak medium rare, medium. Most African Americans don't, but it's okay. You can, like I said, just make sure you seal the flavor in and then go to the oven so that they can be, as tender as possible. I know a lot of people tell me they have a hard time getting steak to be tender, which is, I can understand. I've been there. I've done that. But it's really about your process. If you allow your steak to marinate, especially at room temperature, it's always good to start with room temperature meat. Get it to a good sear, either grilling or on top of the stove, and then finishing it in the oven, and then allowing it to rest after it's cooked. You pretty much, have the formula for a tender steak or chicken or whatever type of meat you're using. There we go. Nice and pretty. All right, let's close our grill up and go back inside. Okay, so now that we're back in the kitchen, we're gonna get started on our Pico de Gallo. I pre-prepped this so that it could pretty much just come together. In this bowl, I already have 5 tomatoes diced and seeded, 2 jalapenos seeded and diced, chopped cilantro. To this, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of green onions. I like to use green onions in my Pico de Gallo as opposed to red or white, but it's all about your preference. It's just what I like to have. I'm also gonna hit this with the juice of 2 lemons, or excuse me, 2 limes. Try to pick the best limes you can. Sometimes they can be finicky, but they all usually do have a little juice in them. Sometimes I find that if you warm them up a little bit under some warm running water, it'll loosen up the juice from the pulp. Okay, so we've got our limes in there, and now I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic, a heaping teaspoon of garlic. I like garlic, maybe just a little bit more. Okay, and to that, I'm going to also add a little bit of vegetable oil, and then I'm going to go ahead and season it to taste with salt and pepper. Okay, and every good chef always tastes to make sure that it's going to be what they want it to be. Perfect. At this point, this is when you know if you need more salt or pepper, or maybe if you need it less. And if you over season, the best way to fix it is just to add some more tomatoes to it. The tomatoes will overcompensate and draw the rest of the salt, and it'll become even. So now I'm going to put this to the side. This is going to be a topping for the tacos. We're going to move on to our avocado relish. I'm not going to call it a guacamole because I'm not going to put tomatoes or onions in it, but it will have lime juice, cilantro, and jalapenos, and salt and pepper, of course. And it's just kind of like I call it a relish. It's just like a tapenade, just like the Pico de Gallo, and just a layer of flavor for our shrimp and steak tacos. Now, what I'm going to do, usually I like to dice my tomatoes, but since I'm going to make a relish, I'm going to kind of smash them. So I have my wire whisk, and so I'm just going to simply start smashing them down. When you're picking avocados, you want to try to get one that's in between being ripe and underripe, because you want your avocados to be firm, and you also want the color to be. So I have a nice mixture of firm and semi-firm avocados, and these are Hass avocados, which are available pretty much anywhere that has a produce department. And if you're not so good with the the whole cutting of things, they also make they have products that have the avocados already shelled and seeded, excuse me, and already smashed up for you, and you can just add your ingredients to them. Okay, now from here, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my limes. Like I said before about the limes, it's always a kind of a luck of the draw type situation. Sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a kind of a semi-dry one. I like to do them with my hands. If you're working with a lot of onions and garlic and things like that, and you have trouble, you leave, go outside after you've cooked, and you smell your hand. It's like, oh man, my hand smells like onion. Well, always opt for the citrus fruit. The essential oils actually help diminish the smell of onions and garlic. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add the cilantro. Some jalapeno. Then I'm also going to add salt and pepper to taste. It's okay to season avocados because they are very, very flat. They're a fruit similar to our friend the tomato, which bears its seeds inside. And now I'm just going to fold all that in. Avocados are really, really, really great pretty much all year round, due to hydroponic farming and things of that nature. Try different types of avocados. There's a California avocado. Those are the really, really large ones. They have a different flavor. Those are great for grilling, I found. Okay, and just like with our Pico de Gallo, I'm going to go ahead and give this a taste test. Right on point. And like I said before, if you find yourself in a position of over seasoning, either add another avocado, and if you don't have another avocado, then you pretty much have to stick with that salty Pico de Gallo or guacamole or avocado relish. But it's okay, you learn from your mistakes. I've over seasoned a lot, but it happens. And so we're gonna set this aside also and move on to our shrimp. Before we do that, I'm going to go get the steaks from off the grill and bring them in, show you what to do next, throw them in the oven so that everything can come together at the same time. Okay, so now that we're back in from the grill, I've got my steaks right here. I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle them with a little bit more Worcestershire sauce. I'm also going to cover this with foil. I have this in a double pan because I'm not altogether sure if there are holes in my pan below it. So you definitely want to get a good seal on your foil. Oftentimes what I do is I use saran wrap and foil, but these steaks were marinated, so I'm just going to have faith in my technique. The oven is at 350. I'm going to leave these in for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to let them rest, cut them down, and they'll be ready to go. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get our shrimp together. So come right back with me in just a second. Welcome back. Okay, now we're going to do our shrimp. I have my pan heating up. I have like a low-medium heat. I'm going to increase it just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add some vegetable oil to my pan. You see how nice and hot? It's got a lot of movement.
Go ahead.
And now I've got my oil in my pan, low-medium heat. I've increased it just a little bit. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my shrimp to this. Yeah. Increasing my heat as I'm doing so. I'm just letting them cook. Toss around. Shrimp doesn't take very long to cook, but you do want to make sure it's a nice even cook. And it's very possible to overcook shrimp. It's not hard at all. Like I said earlier, when we were marinating them, the lime juice actually starts the cooking process well before it hits the pan. As you can see, they're already starting to pink up. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to cover them up. Alright, so now we're back with our steak. I pulled it out of the oven. It sat on the stove and rested for a good 10 to 15 minutes. And now I'm going to go ahead and slice it down. On these sirloin steaks, sometimes it can be a little tricky to find where exactly the grain is, which is okay. We've got these thicker pieces. To find the grain, just always kind of make an initial cut. Okay, so that's not against the grain. This is against the grain. So I'm going to continue to cut down all this steak until I've cut it down. And then the next time you see me, we'll be plating up. Alright folks, here we have it. We have our surf and turf tacos with our Pico de Gallo, our relish, avocado relish, and a little dollop of sour cream right on top. Garnished with some just picked cilantro. And that's it. Enjoy. We got corn tortillas. Everything worked out. Everybody's about to eat. We're trying to hurry because my family is, they're like vultures and pending on, on that carcass. They just want to get in there and eat. I don't blame them at all. It smells wonderful in here, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next go around. Happy Pico de Gallo.